Reading through the Bible in one year, December 15th, 2nd Chronicles 17, Revelation chapter 6, Zechariah chapter 2, and John chapter 5. His son Jehoshaphat became king in his place and strengthened himself against Israel. He stationed troops in every fortified cities of Judah and set garrisons in the land of Judah and in the cities of Ephraim that his father Uzzah had captured. Now Yahweh was with Jehoshaphat, because he walked in the former ways of his father David. He did not seek the Baals, but sought the God of his father, and walked by his commands, not according to the practices of Israel. So Yahweh established the kingdom in his hand. Then all I lost my spot. Then all Judah brought him tribute, and he had riches and honor in abundance. He took great pride in Yahweh's ways, and he again removed the high places and Asherah poles from Judah. In the third year of his reign, Jehoshaphat sent his officials, Ben-Hail, Obadiah, Zechariah, Nethanel, and Micaiah, to teach in the cities of Judah. The Levites with them were Shemaiah, Nethaniah, Zebediah, Azael, Shemiramoth, Jehonathan, Adonijah, Tobijah, and Tob-Adonijah. The priests, Elishama and Joram, were with these Levites. They taught throughout Judah, having the book of Yahweh's instruction with them. They went throughout the towns of Judah and taught the people. The terror of Yahweh was on all the kingdoms of the lands that surrounded Judah, so they didn't fight against Jehoshaphat. Some of the Philistines also brought gifts and silver as tribute to Jehoshaphat. And the Arabs brought him flocks, 7,700 rams and 7,700 male goats. Jehoshaphat grew stronger and stronger. He built fortresses and stored cities in Judah and carried out great works in the towns of Judah. He had fighting men, valiant warriors in Jerusalem. These are their numbers according to their ancestral families. For Judah, the commanders of thousands, Adnah, the commander and 300,000 valiant warriors with him. Next to him, Jehohanan, there we go, the commander, and 280,000 with him. Next to him, Amaziah, son of Zikri, the volunteer of Yahweh, and 200,000 valiant warriors with him. From Benjamin, Eliada, a valiant warrior, and 200,000 with him armed with bow and shield. Next to him, Jehozabad, and 180,000 with him equipped for war. These were the ones who served the king, besides those he stationed in the fortified cities throughout all Judah. Now Revelation chapter 6. Then I saw the Lamb open one of the seven seals. And I heard one of the four living creatures say with a loud voice like thunder, "Come." I looked, and there was a white horse. Its rider held a bow. A crown was given to him, and he went out as a conqueror in order to conquer. When he opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature say, "Come." Then another horse went out, a fiery red one, and its rider was allowed to take peace from the earth, so that people would slaughter one another, and a large sword was given to him. When he opened the third seal, I heard the third living creature say, "Come." And I looked, and there was a black horse, and its rider held a set of scales in his hand. Then I heard something like a voice among the four living creatures say, "A quart of wheat for a denarius, and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius, but do not harm the oil and the wine." When he opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature say, "Come." And I looked, and there was a pale green horse. Its rider was named Death, and Hades was following after him. Sorry, there's a meme about this. It's great, but I mean it's a good point. You know that you find all four of these together, and it is terrifying to see them. But then you see the horse whose rider is Death and Hades following after. That's scary. They were given authority over a fourth of the earth to kill by the sword, by famine and plague. Same threefold judgment God pronounces over Israel in Jeremiah. And by the wild animals of the earth. When he opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of those who had been slaughtered because of the word of Yahweh and the testimony they had given. They cried out with a loud voice, Lord, Lord, the one who is holy and true, how long until you judge those who live on the earth and avenge our blood? So they were each given a white robe, and they were told to rest a little while longer, until the number would be completed of their fellow servants and their brothers and sisters, who were going to be killed just as they had been. Then I saw him open the sixth seal. A violent earthquake occurred, and the sun turned black like sackcloth made of hair. The entire moon became like blood. The stars of heaven fell to the earth as a fig tree drops its unripe figs when shaken by a high wind. The sky was split apart like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was moved from its place. Then the kings of the earth, the nobles, the generals, the rich, the powerful, and every slave and free person hid in the caves and among the rocks of the mountains. And they said to the mountains and to the rocks, Fall on us and hide us from the face of the one seated on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb, because the great day of their wrath has come. And who is able to stand? Now Zechariah chapter 2. I looked up and saw a man with a measuring line in his hand. I asked, Where are you going? He answered me, To measure Jerusalem, to determine its width and length. Then the angel who was speaking with me went out, and another angel went out to meet him. He said to him, Run and tell this young man, Jerusalem will be inhabited without walls because of the number of people and animals in it. The declaration of Yahweh, I myself will be a wall of fire around it, and I will be the glory within it. Listen, listen, flee from the land of the north. This is Yahweh's declaration. For I have scattered you like the four winds of heaven. This is Yahweh's declaration. Listen, Zion, escape, you who are living with daughter Babylon. For the Lord of armies says this, in pursuit of his glory, he sent me against the nations plundering you. For whoever touches you touches the pupil of my eye. For look, I am raising my hand against them, and they will become plunder for their own servants. Then you will know that the Lord of armies has sent me. Daughter Zion, shout for joy and be glad, for I am coming to dwell among you. This is the Lord's declaration. Many nations will join themselves to Yahweh in that day, or on that day, and become my people. I will dwell among you, and you will know that the Lord of armies has sent me to you. Yahweh will take possession of Judah as his portion in the Holy Land, and he will once again choose Jerusalem. Let all humanity be silent before Yahweh, for from his holy dwelling he has roused himself. Now John chapter 5. After this, a Jewish festival took place, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. By the sheep gate in Jerusalem, there is a pool called Bethesda in Aramaic, which has 5 colonnades. Within these lay a large number of the disabled, blind, lame, and paralyzed. One man was there who had been disabled for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and realized he had already been there a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to get well?" "Sir," the disabled man answered, "I have no one to put me in the pool when the water is stirred up. But while I'm coming, someone goes down ahead of me." "Get up," Jesus told him. "Pick up your mat and walk." Instantly, the man got well, picked up his mat, and started to walk. Now that day was a Sabbath. Dun, dun, dun. Again, this is a big deal. And so the Jews said to the man who had been healed, "This is the Sabbath. The law prohibits you from picking up your mat." I've read the Bible. I don't see that. But he replied, "Well, the man who made me well told me, 'Pick up your mat and walk.'" "Who is this man who told you, 'Pick up your mat and walk'?" they asked. But the man who was healed did not know who it was, because Jesus had slipped away into the crowd that was there. After this, Jesus found him in the temple and said to him, "See, you are well. Do not sin anymore, so that something worse doesn't happen to you." The man went and reported to the Jews that it was Jesus who had made him well. Therefore, the Jews began persecuting Jesus because he was doing these things on the Sabbath. Jesus responded to them, "My Father is still working, and I am working also." This is why the Jews began trying all the more to kill him. Not only was he breaking the Sabbath, but he was even calling God his own Father, making himself equal to God. Jesus replied, "Truly I tell you, the Son is not able to do anything on his own, but only does what he sees the Father doing. For whatever the Father does, the Son likewise does these things. For the Father loves the Son and shows him everything he is doing, and he will show him greater works than these, so that you will be amazed. And just as the Father raises the dead and gives them life, so the Son also gives life to whomever he wants. The Father, in fact, judges no one, but has given all judgment to the Son." Here Jesus is saying that he is the one who has received the authority to judge the world, "so that all people may honor the Son just as they honor the Father. Anyone who does not honor the Son does not honor the Father who sent him. Truly I tell you, anyone who hears my word and believes him who sent me has eternal life, and will not come under judgment, but has passed from death to life." This is a past tense thing. It's already occurred, even before you physically die here on earth. "Truly I tell you, an hour is coming and is now here, when the dead will hear the voice of the Son of God, and those who hear will live." Again, Jesus talking spiritually. The people only hear it horizontally, earthly. "For just as the Father has life in himself, so he has granted to the Son to have life in himself. And he has granted him the right to pass judgment, because he is the Son of Man. Do not be amazed at this, because a time is coming when all who are in the graves will hear his voice and come out. Those who have done good things to the resurrection of life, but those who have done wicked things to the resurrection of condemnation. I can do nothing on my own. I judge only as I hear, and my judgment is just, because I do not seek my own will, but the will of him who sent me. If I testify about myself, my testimony is not true. According to the law, you have to have at least 2 witnesses. There is another who testifies about me, and I know the testimony he gives about me is true. You sent messengers to John, and he testified to the truth. I don't receive human testimony, but I say these things so that you may be saved. John was a burning and shining lamp, and you were willing to rejoice for a while in his light. But I have a greater testimony than John, because of the works the Father has given me to accomplish. These very works I am doing testify about me that the Father has sent me. The Father who sent me has himself testified about me. You have not heard his voice at any time, and you haven't seen his form. You don't have the word or his word residing in you, because you don't believe the one he sent. You pore over the scriptures because you think you have eternal life in them, yet they testify about me. But you are not willing to come to me so that you may have life. I do not accept glory from people, but I know you, that you have no love for God within you. I have come in my Father's name, and yet you don't accept me. If someone else comes in his own name, well, you will accept him. How can you believe, since you accept glory from one another, but don't seek the glory that comes from the only God? Do not think that I will accuse you to the Father. Your accuser is Moses, on whom you have set your hope. For if you believed Moses, you would believe me, because he wrote about me. But if you don't believe what he wrote, how will you believe my words? And that is all the notes, and that is all the text. So, God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Behold, the word of the Lord.